we're just going to wait for someone to come on for today's Ascension tip. This is one of them. Light therapy of all kinds. Orange. Yellow. Okay. And last is blue. I wouldn't leave it over your eyes for too long. Mindful of your bigger eye, your pineal gland. So we're using this light to stimulate this technology, to stimulate these the master tool that you are, the vehicle, the vessel. So we're using light with both just within us by being more aware and more super conscious of where we are in space. And so that's today's biggest awareness so far in this now moment, is to look at your space. Look at the places that you're spending the most time. Your house, your car, maybe you sit outside somewhere, maybe you go to a job, that building or that room. Wherever you are hanging out, people's houses, if you go to their house, that's pretty much where we're going. And I guess we could also look at buildings, public buildings. I'll address those secondary. But the first ones are spaces. And the first code is about, I've said that several of these codes keep coming up for the past few days, so I'm just going to try to go deeper and expound more on them when they're seem to be coming days on end, or multiple days, I should say. Is the code about your buildings, your corners of your rooms, recoding from the existing belief system of a house as dead space because of the way it was created in a square typically was to create a dead zone and a part of, at some level of consciousness, there was a dead zone consciousness revealed by the corners, that energy gets trapped in the corners. So you can find a belief system, and then the key is to recode it. Any of the belief systems that, any of the realizations, any of the definitions, any of the reality that is not incongruent with your radiance, your wholeness, your sovereignty, there's room there to recode it. And there's a big call for you to recode it rather than resisting it, but to make it be best use for you. So I've already done it. I've recoded buildings, the buildings I come into, that I have permission, especially my house, to have it be that the corners actually give me energy, and they give me a feeling of outside in. They give me the feeling of, just as it feels outside, I'm intending to feel inside with this new program I've set on the corners. And let me make sure I'm complete with that, because I was mid-air doing an upgrade on my corners of my house when I heard to get on and do this live, because I was upgrading yet another level of this. So my consciousness that's working with the building codes, star codes, did I have that correct? Are we complete with making the corners of this buildings that I'm working with to bring in light and to utilize that light towards our divinity? Yes. And also to make sure that it feels like the outside, like the outdoors, nature, like the way that nature feels? Yes, but more to it. Okay, so what am I missing? Has to do with being in congruent match with the energies within the space. Did I get all that? No. Show me. It's more about just feeling good in your space. So rather than trying to attach that it be like Nature Kingdom or that it be like the outside, it's more of that it's on this kind of autopilot to be congruent match to what your heart desires. So setting your programs for your corners of your dwellings to give you energy rather than sucking energy out, letting it give energy, and that it be in harmony and benefit the congruent match of the hearts that are in there, or the soul's desires that are in your space. And the example that Spirit just showed me was like having a dinosaur in here and a mouse, or just that, it's not always about calling in Nature Kingdom in here, as well as it's also not about calling in energies that wouldn't be a good match. So, and the third thing that consciousness brought up was about making sure that it's malleable to be whatever it is, beyond nature, whatever that feeling that I want this space to feel like, that it just be this congruent match to my desires. So that's the first Ascension code of today, is to really dive into making best use of the spaces that you're spending the most time in and having them work to your benefit. Recoding it to mean what you want it to mean. So when we start to find our way out of this maze, this matrix, the mother, the womb, matrix means mother, it means womb. When you find yourself out of these womb packets, and every house that you go into is someone else's womb packet. So it's a very sacred space to go into someone else's sector or vector or universe in their home, because that's their matrix, how they've set it up. And so you can upload, some technology or some statements inside of you that says, when I go in here, I'm going to feel my own space. I'm going to feel my own universe within this home. And it's going to be a benefit for myself to go into this space. You can do that. If you're that sensitive, you're going to do these things. If you're not that sensitive, innocence and ignorance is bliss. Until you start to feel it, you can maybe tap into these codes I'm telling you about. So going in, making your way out of these womb spaces, these matrices, gets you through the gateways of those belief systems, of those realities of how it was set up, how it was coded in the matrix, only to dematerialize it, dissolve it all, so that you can recode it to be more simple, right? You can just make things as the energies are organizing themselves, that it just comes to your superconscious bliss or your superconscious sovereignty. That's how you want the energies to be recycled as you tumble walls down in consciousness. Or you can be more specific and communicate with your consciousness and find out, well, how should I set up this thing called a house? How should I make it be most beneficial and serve me? You can do that. You can also, be living in a dome, or living in a yurt, or living in a tent, or living in a hammock, or living outside, or living in space. You can live anywhere that you feel comfortable, and you can make anywhere, because as you realize this truly is at some level a hologram existence, you can make wherever you are sitting, shapeshift. You can, and that was one of the codes just now from my own house consciousness, was to make it shape-shiftable. That it doesn't have to just be feeling like Nature Kingdom outside, that it can feel however I want it to feel. Like right now, I could ask it, I'm just feeling more energies right now. I'm going to ask it just to feel like a purple energy in here, a soothing, soft purple energy. I'm going to ask that the corners of the building are giving me energy that sustains my bliss and sustains a feeling of relaxation when I'm in this room right now with this purple energy. And I don't have to get that detailed at all. I could just set it to be something very simple. It's up to you. You are the programmer of your reality. That's the biggest message here, is that as you take yourself out of these old systems and matrix patterns and let them drop and fall, and then allow your energy to recoil and resurface and recirculate through your being, through your projector, through your generator of your heart, you are free to go ahead and have things be how you believe them or not believe them to be anymore. It could be a feeling. So I wanted you to really look at the places you're spending the most time, your car, your work, your house, and how can you make the buildings, the spaces that you're setting yourself in be more better? How can you make them, how can you up level your super consciousness to match and understand, to be aware of what's behind the curtain? What's behind what I'm seeing with my two eyes? What else is here? What else could I have my car take me to? What else could I have my house do for me? And the more I'm aware of where I'm spending my most time, and how these ships, how these wombs that I place myself in, now the more I understand, and I be the programmer of them, so I truly understand, because I'm programming it super consciously, really tuning in and kind of mapping it out, then I'm going to have a better idea of how I'm driving and navigating my life. And this is just a suggestion. This is one more tip of ascension for me, how I keep waking up here every day, waking up to the things I'm sharing with you. These are just my normal thoughts, my normal routines of existence. The other thing that I've brought up already, but it's coming up again on my list to tell you guys about, is that moving big items. I am continuing to move big items today. We just cleaned out some closets and reorganized some art supplies. Moved around. We're selling the RV. That ship is moving on to its next guardianship. And as I am unpacking that, I'm moving things around the house, getting rid of things, and lots is moving, but I can really feel an up-leveling of where I'm heading with my energy. I can get more clarity as I move some things around, especially when we're in the times that we're in, where maybe you don't want to go around too much. Maybe you don't want to wear a mask somewhere, so you end up staying home a lot. And if you can move your house around and move your land around, move things outside the house and give them more purpose and give them more meaning, you're going to feel like you're taking a trip, because you are. You're just sitting still. And this is our next level of travel, is to sit still and travel within and transverse and travel to new destinations. And then you open your eyes and you're at these new destinations because you built them in your own mind. So when you move big items around your house while literally building out these scenes in your mind, you're going to watch how that energy you free up from a closet all of a sudden propels you into a whole new project, a whole new venture, a whole new path, a whole new group of people. Things that maybe you've been sitting on seem to get moving all of a sudden, because that energy gets unleashed and moved. And it allows for those projects or those intentions that you have been, committed to saying to yourself. You'll actually see the fruits of your labor of programming on the inners when you move stuff on the outer. Okay? Let's see if I got it all. They said something about hertz. So flipping words, the word hurt. If things are hurting you, it's changing the hertz. It's changing the frequency. So how can we find anything that's still hurting ourselves or the collective and shift it within ourselves, heal ourselves, forgive ourselves for the times that we, in timelines were not kind to the human race, to children, to our sexuality, to our innocence, to our, all these spaces that we can find our own hand in things and forgive ourselves and clean it up by dissolving it and recoding it with, wholeness and sovereign codes of responsibility, neutrality, sovereignty, respecting others, respecting energy by getting to know it again, getting to know what's going on around you. Things are not as they seem. So dig deep underneath the layers and find out the conception points of what you're seeing with your two eyes. What's behind all that? So it's like the big message is, what is behind all the words? What is behind all that you're seeing around you? And once you find out what's behind it, you don't have to feel debilitated from it. You can go, oh, okay, well, that doesn't really resonate with me. So I'm just going to dissolve that, and I'm going to upload a new program that says this about X, Y, and Z. So it's up to you to recode what's happening right now on the collective, inside your house, inside your personal topics, your personal relationships, so that we can have this new world. We are the builders of the new world, and it requires this inner building. And it seems like everybody's involved on this one. It's not like, you know, just a couple people need to build. Everybody has to take personal responsibility within themselves right now and rebuild. And it's all rebuildable. So that's good news. Is it's all rebuildable. Let's make use of what's falling down and put it to new light, new heart, new rhythm, new hertz, new frequencies, and build out, you know, what's next. Okay, and lastly, corners recoding, I said that. Make use super conscious of anywhere you spend time, told you about that. Understand how to drive your ship. Okay, so selenite stick. Understand how to drive your ship. Understand every morsel of your space. I know I've said this whole live and a few lives before this. I like to make best understanding of my space with my selenite stick. I'll walk around with it and I'll sweep a building counterclockwise, and I'll go into the corners, even with my new uploaded, you know, up-leveled belief systems about corners of houses. If you didn't catch that, it's the beginning of this live. But I'll go and sweep a building counterclockwise. Sometimes it's clockwise. Usually it's counterclockwise to clear energies. Clockwise, usually I'm grounding a project or grounding energies, intentions. But I'll go around and sweep, and that gives me a good opportunity to actually start doing some really good questioning of, okay, what's this for? And does this need to be here? Or do I get rid of this? Does it serve me, my highest and best for me to let this go? Does it serve me for my highest and best to move my room around, you know, because it's literally a massive amount of energy? Or it's because I'm, you know, literally, you know, needing to move some things, items in a space because it's got to go. It says I'm ascending to a new realm. So I have tended to move a lot through my lifetime, and I know when it's time to move. I get these hot sweats, and it's time to move big energy. It's time to move furniture. It's time to move myself somewhere else. And sometimes it's just etherically that I'm almost bilocating, and there's a large amount of my energy in another parallel universe at a level. That's what I'm doing now with the dome, with the Unity Marker Project. I definitely spend a lot of time there etherically and dream time, and doing lots of magic on the inner planes, as well as in real time, or in slowed down time, we should say, when I'm there for the first and third weekends of the month for 2020 and beyond. Okay. I think that was it. Oh, selenite stick, just sweep your space. Even if you don't ask questions on your first time around, see how much energy you can free up by taking that selenite stick and sweeping around the space. And if you don't have a selenite stick, go with a drum. If you don't have an instrument, go with 2 spoons. You know, go move some energy. A bell is really good. Your hand is the most sacred technology. Just use your imagination, though. Go to the next level with your understandings. It's time to go what's underneath everything. So yes, our hands are powerful. Yes, there's chakras at the palm of my hand. Yes, there's chakras at the points of my fingers, beams of light coming out of my hands. But really see them if you're going to use your hand as you sweep. And understand what one finger does, whereas another one does something else. Understand what's going on with one hand to another hand. Ask these questions. Ask more questions. Get to know your sacred technology. Get to know the technology of space and your car, your house, the places you're spending the most time. Recode them. It's all ether. It's all plasma particles. And collapse the things that aren't working for you, and then recode them for yourself and the collective on what will work for us as we literally transverse into new realities and new universes, multiverses, through our abilities, through our willingness to step up within ourselves. Have a great day.